Welcome everyone to yet another episode of Market Wrap with Raja. And this week has been quite challenging, so to say. First, we were driven by the currency moves, and now we are witnessing some sharp drawdown on the indices. So all this has created a lot of confusion in the minds of traders as well as investors with regards to their positions. And we'll be seeing today on how the market is placed and how the market could actually poise to move further in the coming week. All began with the currency movement, which I had highlighted in the last issue. You can see here that the prices moved up quite a bit and it reached into 1.618 Fibonacci projection. And yet again, the 1.618 Fibonacci projection continued to hold back the weakness, and that shows you the power of Fibonacci relationship. I had shared with you last time on how effectively the Fibonacci relationships work, and I was happy to receive calls from the subscribers and also other people who are watching us on Twitter and following us on Twitter. They asked us, how does this relationship work and how beautifully it is able to capture the price movement of something as diverse, which we are not used to, as a USD INR. So this is what I've shown here. This is a daily chart of USD INR. And you can see here that at 1.618, which is around the 72.67 levels, the USD INR is resisting. And right now, what we are seeing, if for those who are familiar with technical analysis, would know this forming like a double top. Yes, the double top is yet to be action, but anything below 7150 would definitely invite some selling pressure on the USD INR, and that could also bring us a sense of relief. Along with this, this time I have used a momentum indicator called ADX. And you can see here that the ADX, which is average directional index, it's a very fantastic momentum indicator. It's a lagging indicator, but definitely it gives you a good sense of what is likely to happen. And that's what we are all interested in, right? We all want to know what is likely to happen. We are always in the now, but we always want to know the future. So ADX is a very, very powerful tool, and I have used this here to find out that the bullish momentum where there was considerable weakness seen in the USD INR is somehow seemed to be dissipating. And this, with the positive DI line heading lower, we could actually be entering into a ranging action. And for those who are familiar with the RBI movement, RBI has been intervening around the 73 levels, albeit a bit more less aggression has been shown by RBI, but yet there has been some selling of dollars emerging at higher levels. Along with that, the RBI policy is coming up in the first week of October. So all these events put together could withhold the weakness seen in the USD INR. So now with the momentum indicators also showing a fair bit, so we could actually be seeing some kind of breather which is emerging in the USD. So this is the index which I have shown here, and it's a very, very powerful index. Average directional index is a very, very good momentum indicator. So we have seen this on the USD INR. Let's see what our pivot levels have to say. And when you go back to the pivot levels, this is what I have for you. But before the pivot levels, let's look at the overall setup, and then I will go on to the pivot levels. You can see here that I have used my favorite tool, Pitchfork, and I have found that on the daily charts, Nifty has dipped down strongly into the lower channel, and out here it has made a long shadow, which clearly indicates that a strong bit of buying has come in. And that's what pushed me to introspect into what could have really happened. And I saw that again the Fibonacci levels are coming into play, and around 11,026 is where I am seeing the strong support emerging based on Fibonacci levels drawn from the July low. So you can see here, I can highlight it for you. You can see here this is the July low, and the entire rise, has fallen now. The fall has now retraced the entire rise seen from beginning of July to around 61.8, which is 11,000. So the key levels to watch out for the coming week is 11,000. And again, I have used the concept of ADX, and I can see here that this time the negative DI has started dominating. You can see here that there is a particular setup which we have discussed in our webinar. It's titled Power Trading with ADX. And it's a fantastic webinar which has been done by Dr. Narayan, where he shows you the nuances of using this tool. Every tool has got its own speciality, and once you learn to know how to use that tool well, it would definitely work well for you. And ADX is a very, very powerful tool, mind you, and for that you need to know it in detail. And that's what happens when you get to know from the master how to approach every tool. And that's what chart advice does. It shows you how the market is going to work and how various sets of tools are going to work, so that you as a trader, you as an investor, and you as a participant who would like to do things by himself are enabled. And this minus DI line is now showing that there is some weakness taking over the market sentiment. Well, will it persist is what we'll have to see. So let's see what are the other indicators which show that. So before that, let me just show you what does this ADX all about. This ADX, this webinar which I was just referring to you, it's called as Power Trading with ADX. And for those who would like to know more details, can visit our website chartadvice.com and visit the training section to get more details on the whole course. Meanwhile, I'll just highlight it to you. And for those who would like to know, they can follow us on the link below. I'll be putting this very same link on today's edition of Market Wrap. You can take a look at that, and you can also hit the subscribe button of our YouTube channel, as well as you can go ahead and buy this course. It's a fantastic program where you would get to know about the concept of ADX. Mind you, Chart Advice hosts the widest range of technical analysis webinars anywhere in the country. You can see here, markets are either ranging or they are trending, but you always want to know what is the current situation, and that's where ADX plays a very important part. And that is what we have discussed here. We have shown you how professionals approach the market and how they take hold of the market condition. You don't have to worry if a stock is not trending, or when a stock is trending, how to participate in it. All these aspects are considered and they are highlighted to you. You can go through these details, where it's a webinar titled Power Trading with ADX, and it's done by Dr. Narayan, and it has got lots of wisdom on markets, along with that lot of wisdom on this tool, along with practical implementation of this entire webinar. So that you get notifications about market wraps. There are other kinds of videos which I'm going to post. So all these videos and interesting sets of technical analysis concepts can be updated, and you can stay in touch with the Chart Advice team, because there are more interesting knowledge information session and sharing which is going to happen, and you do not want to miss out on it. People who got connected last week and saw our videos have profited from it, because there was a buy and a sell. Now this week there are two buy prospects. The basis for it also has been set. So all this gives you a complete picture on how to approach the market. I am sure that you would have enjoyed watching this market wrap. Do leave your comments on the YouTube channel, and I'm sure that you will definitely be able to profit from the videos, and you'll be able to gain much more about technical analysis concept. For more interesting details and other concepts, learning, etc., you could get in touch with our office. The office contact number will be available on our YouTube page of this particular market wrap. You could contact our office and get to know more about our products and services. With that, I'll bid you goodbye. Happy weekend, and we'll see you again next Saturday. Thank you. All right. So that was about ADX for you. You could take a look at the link which I'll share with you later. Now moving back to the charts, we see that the Nifty is poised at an inflection point. So let's take a look at what the inflection point can do for us. So again, we go back to our pivot levels. You can see here, the pivot levels are very simple lines which some of you may be seeing on your charts. And you can see here that last few weeks, the pivot levels have proved to be quite critical. And they have initiated a reaction on the drawdown. So whenever the prices dipped into the pivot levels, there was a pullback. And you can see here that the pullback last week witnessed into the 11,000 zone, which was the monthly S2 and the weekly S3. those two together was a confluence which produced a strong reaction yesterday when the news of nervousness in the NBFC managed to enter the market and spook quite a lot of stop losses, and also the stocks as well as the indices saw heavy shorting. So now with this kind of levels proving to be quite helpful for us to understand the market sentiment, let's take a look at what today's levels are indicating. So when you go down to today's levels, this is what I have set up for you. So you can see here that the last 2 weeks we had the Nifty closing above the weekly pivot, and this is for the first time that the Nifty has closed below the weekly pivot. You can see here that the Nifty has closed below the weekly pivot, which definitely signals the weakness has escalated. When the weakness has escalated, one needs to be more careful with their positions, because you cannot remain now only on the long side. Last week did warrant us some opportunities where we could continue to remain long, but this week it looks like the bearishness is more pronounced, so one should actually be more careful. So you can see here that the S2 levels are at 11,081, and that is the only saving grace. The monthly S2 is at 11,081, and after that you have the weekly S2 right down at 10,920. So when 10,920 levels are going to be reached, there is a typo here. It is not 10,220. It's 10,920. So 10,920 and 10,735 are the two levels which one needs to watch out for. And if you take a look at these two levels as part of your action plan for the next week, you will be able to take care of your positions in an appropriate manner. Well, if the markets were to recover, considering some strengthening emerging in the INR, one could actually look at crossing of 11,300 as a key level. All right. So we have a closing at around 11,166. Market needs to trek up above 11,300 for some kind of strength on the bullish side to return. Otherwise, market is definitely poised for some weakness. Well, let's also see what is our dear friend Bank Nifty telling us. And we can see that Bank Nifty has now seen a sharp decline, and we have used the concept of Bollinger Band to give us a measure of the volatility which is in play. The strong fall which we witnessed last week has now seen the prices hitting the lower band, and right now you can see that it's almost becoming a flat. The upper band as well as the lower band are flattening out, which clearly indicates that the Bank Nifty could enter a range. And with no kind of support being lent to the Nifty, we could see some ranging action emerge next week. As we head into the expiry next week, one needs to be careful of their positions, as there will also rollover activity which will kick in, and all this could lead us to some volatile scenario emerging next week. So profit booking should be quite adept. You should be nimble while booking profits, and one should always apply stop loss. Stop loss is a very nice word to hear, but people seldom apply it, and that's what was the result the carnage which we saw yesterday. All right, all this is a cue on the indices. And another thing I would like to highlight on the Nifty is that the Nifty has witnessed almost a 750 point decline in this month, which is far more than the last month. So we could actually be reaching an excess of the moves based on the average range for each month. So we could actually be witnessing some kind of pullback in the Nifty itself. But yes, the overall sentiment still remains little weak. So one should actually look at some selling as well as some buying opportunity. So that's what we have considered today, and you can see that we have chosen the stock of LIC Housing on the short side. LIC Housing incidentally was a stock which I covered yesterday in Hot Money, a show which I do on Bloomberg Quint. It's a fantastic show where I showcase the chart. You can also look at our channel Do subscribe to our channel and stay connected on all these kind of interesting, where along with me, two other technical analyst guests, we discuss various kind of charts, formations, and they really help people understand the markets and the charts in a much better way. Where I discussed the stock of LIC Housing, a short trade at 460, and soon within 20-25 minutes, this news popped up post 12:30, and the stock met our targets of around 415. So a 10 to 12% move was achieved within a space of 15-20 minutes. Sometimes markets can be very rewarding, but yes, you also got to be lucky. So this is again the chart of LIC Housing, which I have used the concept of Bollinger Band, where I see that the prices are now tagging the Bollinger Band. And Bollinger Band and other concepts are discussed quite a bit in our programs, which you can get to know from our counselors, who will be happy to assist you with the details. But now, for the understanding of my viewers, you can see here now the Bollinger Band is now widening, and with a strong long body red candle, which is now tagging the Bollinger Band, one could actually be initiating some shots. And you can again see here that the minus DI line is strongly pronounced upward and inching higher. So which clearly suggests that the bull bears are in control, and now we could witness some more decline in this stock. So this stock is currently pays at 440. It has got potential to move towards 415 in the next week, and one could actually also use rally towards 470 as a rally point to sell. So all in all, it's a weak stock, and one should use either as an intraday or as a STBT play or as a 2 to 3 day play as on the short side. So one stock for the short and another stock for the long. So this is the stock which I have chosen for the long side. ONGC has been a slow mover, but off late, with the positive sentiment emerging again in the energy sector, you can see that this stock has managed to move out of the descending trend line. You can see here, this is a descending trend line right from the beginning of the year, and now a pullback into this trend line has managed to generate some buying interest. And especially in the September series, we are seeing some steady buying interest emerging, and the successive green candles clearly indicates that this trend could persist. Stock is currently placed at 181. One could actually buy with a stop loss below 185 for an upside towards 200. So a very, very good potential stock here, and a stop loss below 175 and a target of 200 definitely augurs well for the stock. So one should actually be looking to buy ONGC and be on the sell side with LIC. With the NBFC news also coming in, one could actually be witnessing some softness emerging in that counter. So these are the stocks in play. I have given you a brief about Bank Nifty, where I expect the Bank Nifty to be in a range bound, and the Nifty has got a position where you could take on either side. This is the Nifty for you, and a Nifty, if it continues to move below Friday's close, it is a short opportunity for you. And I have also shown you that the Nifty is at a strong support of 61.8. So a drop towards 11,000 would be a first target, and a drop towards 10,800 will be a second target. So this is how we are placed on the indices. So a negative market view coming up in the next week. So one should actually be looking at the negative side of the market. So I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Market Wrap, where I have shown you different kinds of markets, different kinds of asset classes, shown you how to assess the market, assess the stocks. Please do not forget to leave your comments below, because your comments are very valuable for us. And also share and subscribe such interesting video on the market condition and how to study the market using technical analysis. Is not done by many people out there. I'm sure you have been finding some value every week through the levels which I have been sharing. If you have any feedbacks, do share it with us. You could send me a mail, you could send us or call us, and we'll be happy to incorporate it as part of your forthcoming videos. Stay tuned and have a good weekend. Thank you.